So we now live in a post-raid on Area 51 world, and I've learned one thing from the raid on Area 51. People don't know what the word raid or storm means.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Naruto running around. They might as well just call it a meme mart.
That would be a far better name.
Sorry, but you guys weren't all down there.
Were you?
I got down there, okay?
Okay.
And this generalization of the people who went to fight for alien rights is absolutely...
That just kind of weirdly ran at a gate and then stopped, and with a laughing stock of local news networks. I fucking watched the BBC feed of this shit.
They want you to see. What you don't understand, there were thousands and thousands of people. There was a media blackout because we successfully stormed Area 1 and many alien cheeks were clapped this past, okay? But the media doesn't want you to know how easy it was to storm Area 51, okay? I was there. I ran with the Naruto.
And how many aliens did you clap, Alex?
Several clapping.
I'm gonna need numbers. I'm gonna need numbers on this one, Alex.
I lost count. There was a lot. Anyway,
all right, so what
the
else?
First wave was the Naruto run, okay? Then we had the the Kyles that were powered by Monster Energy. They actually signaled the run because in the distance, you just heard an echo of cans of Monster cracking open.
Gotcha.
And all of a sudden, drywall was about to get punched. So the Naruto guys ran the way first to distract. And the Kyles came from behind, punched it out of the walls into Area 1. Boom, defend down, okay? You weren't there. I saw it happen, okay?
So what else did they find there? I've seen a lot of theorizing. Some people say that the improved trailer for Cats is there.
Yes, there is actually. We found the new Sonic trailer with the improved Sonic looks there. The new Cats trailer. Meow, indeed. Yeah. We found that. We also found Sega was working on a new inside that I didn't want to tell you about. Turns out Sega never actually died.
No one's saying Sega died. Just the Dreamcast.
Sega never died, Charlie. It's been in hibernation this whole time.
Sega
and they're just
keeps
slowly
releasing games.
Okay.
They just don't have a console anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I was there. I was in.
They have a portal to the reality where the Dreamcast 3 is a thing.
That's a shit reality then.
Confirmed. I see you were also there.
No, I just read news for it. So Sega news. I always have to have all the things. But apparently they have a portal to the best reality.
Yeah. You know what else they have?
I don't want to live in a reality where Dreamcast survived.
Dreamcast 3.
Yeah, that's
Dreamcast
the implication. 3. It survived.
There's also a portal to where game companies don't do shady shit all the time and actually respect the game.
Now I just know you're lying to us.
No. There is an alternate realm there where this is the case.
I was willing to believe the alien clapping, the Sega reality, the Naruto running being an effective thing, Monster Energy drink letting you punch through walls, but a world where game publishers respect those that buy us or buy their games, that's a step too far, man. I have to call bullshit on this whole tirade.
You know what else was in that alternate reality that I was in? You know what else was there?
I'm afraid to ask.
Loot boxes banned. All companies have banned loot boxes. Like, you know what? This takes advantage of predatory players. So we're not going to do loot boxes. And it was canceled. And they actually have content that get released for game. Buy the game. Not having to do a pickup later. You know what else I found down there? A fully functional, completed version of Anthem with content and story and things you can actually do.
So you're just in this reality. Anthem's fine. Not good, fine.
Oh, no, it's great. It's actually one of the top sellers. Destiny 2 was retired because they're like, we can't handle Anthem.
Well, yeah, that happened here too, briefly, too. Again, you forget that Anthem was the top seller in the UK, briefly.
Yeah, but it's not
ironic being number one in this case. It actually happened.
It just...
this one.
Look, I can't go to until point because the FBI technically still though. I might have already said Yeah, guys, it was fun.
Yeah, that'll work. I've watched so many fucking videos of people like, we sieged, and I'm like, you don't know what the fuck sieged means, apparently. Oh, I could not laugh. So glad that happened. I think my favorite video to come out of it was the Area 51 guard. The Naruto guy runs up and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And his buddy then has to explain, he's Naruto running. And he's like, what the fuck's Naruto running? When you put your hands behind your back and run, he's like, is that actually, it is two fucking military guards at Area 51 discussing what the fuck Naruto running is. And one of them going like, man, you need to get on Facebook. He's like, was this on Facebook? It's like, it is this magical Jay and Silent Bob moment. Just like, man, this is great. This was worth it.
There was actually a news broadcast guy.
Oh, the super cringy,
and
like,
Naruto dude, Naruto runs right past him.
Have you seen the alternative angle of that one, of the dude getting winded after like 10 feet of doing that?
Yeah. It looked cool in anime, but it's not fucking
Hello and welcome to the Wicked Awesomecast, episode 172. We are back. Literally like 2/3 of the podcast got sick last week, so we chose not to do it because you've had a lot of coughing and sneezing, and me and Alex just destroyed disease voices. I may have started hallucinating halfway through recording time, but that's a whole separate topic. Yes! Welcome, video games, not our horrible personal health, apparently. Anything special about this week that you two want to get ahead of so we can move on with the rest of our podcast?
scandals or just normal news? Because that sounded an awful setup. Like, do you want to get anything off your
I was
chest?
gonna say like birthdays. I was gonna say like birthdays of video game consoles that don't fucking matter because they've been dead, buried for over a decade at this point, and anyone who still clings to that is a sad fanboy.
Happy birthday, Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Moving on.
Pew, 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 pew. Take a Dreamcast.
99.99. 20 years.
Yep.
Wow. 20 years.
Almost old enough to drink about the fact it doesn't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things.
It's old enough to drink in Japan, though.
But would it?
20 years is old enough to drink in Japan.
Yeah.
We both know it wouldn't have made it that far if we're measuring that system.
Well, let's be honest here. Like, Sega Dreamcast, that's the top dog. If you're talking about holding on to an old console, dead, still trying to give it, look, guys, the Xbox One.
We have fucking Neo Geo news this week, so obviously, like, nostalgia is a powerful thing.
There's a video game necromancer at work where all these old things are coming back.
Do you just want to jump into it this week? Because, like, my Xbox One mattering is something I can, like, leap off to for my week, sadly enough.
Well, I do want to bring up a little fun out of the week. Or, like, you want to jump into just the news?
No, I'm saying
Cool.
we need to do our weeks. I've played 2 video games that we need to talk about. But the idea of, like, the Microsoft Xbox One being dead and buried, one of the games I played directly relates to that.
Well, you are a sucker for nostalgia.
I don't know if Gears 5 is nostalgia, but...
I mean, yeah, unless there's...
Fuck it, let's go. We got a long one
Let's
this week.
go.
Let's do it. I guess we're starting. So I played Gears 5, or I played a lot of Gears 5. I did not play it on Xbox One. I played it on my laptop. It's great. It is better than It is Gears 5, not Gears of War 5. I know I keep calling it that. It is better than Gears of War 4. It is weirdly the game I wanted them to make after Gears 3. And by that I mean, for those not familiar with the Gears franchise, they follow the COG and the war with the Locust Horde and kind of this, like, historically been part of a more formal military doing Delta Force Black Ops stuff. This is kind of a more open world post-apocalyptic story. Like, literally 2/4 of the game are open world. You have like a sailboat thing. You fly around. You not fly. You sail around on like first ice world and then desert world for in between your Gears of War mission. Like, there's collectibles and the new Jack upgrades. It's kind of cool because it does more for the Gears of War like world lore than any previous franchise entry has. Like, it really expands it. Like, it's like, here's what life is like in the Gearverse, and all the jokes about how everyone in this universe is just fucking swole all the time. It leans hard into that. Like, there's no smart cars. It's all like fucking monster trucks and like doors that are like heavy plated that have to be opened with just like all your lights that are busting out of your power armor suit. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous in that regard, and I love it for it. They made a new Lancer I actually like. The grenade launcher Lancer is great, where the retro Lancer was fucking hot garbage. They give you a Lancer right off the bat, feels right. It's got the right mix of a nostalgia. Like, all the characters you expect to show up are there. Like, angry old man Marcus Phoenix shows up and is still angry old man Marcus Phoenix. You don't play as the son this time, unlike 4. You play as Kate, who is the first female protagonist of the Gears franchise. She's great. Like, it's cool seeing a move away from the Phoenix dynasty to kind of characters that are also in the world of Gears of War and like have other stakes and stuff going on. Like, your mom is maybe like it's the daughter of the woman who may or may not be the Queen of the Locust, who I think I killed in 3, but man, the Locusts are kind of back, so what gives? And like, you keep having weird seizure nightmares, headache things that are totally you connected to the Hive somehow. What the fuck's up with that? The open world stuff's not great, but it's not terrible. Like, it feels a little patty because I'm used to a very streamlined Gears game, but I am happy to trade kind of the streamlinedness for the feeling of like, yo, this is a fully realized ridiculous world where like everyone is Macho Man Randy Savage or worse. Like, this is a world where one of the leading scientists is essentially Triple H, and not like Triple H in his heyday, current Triple H. Yeah, Baird has gone from this weird goggle wearing nerdy character to a like goatee sporting ripped scientist who like is accidentally inventing like sentient AIs and launching Hammer of Dawn satellites. Like, it's weird. It took them technically 6 games to answer the question of just how fucked up is the Hammer of Dawn satellite war network thing they had going on in the previous titles. And they explained it away. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fucked.
Well, it sounds like Gears of War 3 body or Gears of War body is communicable, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually catch that disease and then, yeah, you're automatically super giant and ripped.
Yeah, yes, that is indeed the joke of Gears of War. Like, there's no, like, meek person in that universe. Like, I can nitpick a couple things here and there. Like, I don't know why, but they gave the main character you play as, Kate, sexy pants for no goddamn reason. And I'm like, this is weird. Especially, like, it's super cool the protagonist of this game is a female character. Like, it fits with the narrative-wise. It's a neat change for Gears of War. I don't get why she is the first Gears protagonist to go into combat in yoga pants. It's a little strange.
The rule of female armor in our
Yeah.
No, so that's where it gets weird, because she's still wearing full Gears armor. Like, it's got the ridiculous side padding and stuff. It's just, like, got coloring and stuff where it's like, when did Lululemon start making, like, tactical gear?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, we all know Gears of War is just, like, it's basically the junior high boys video game.
I wouldn't go that hard. Like, it's not, I'm not calling it a deep
You wouldn't?
thinky game.
I will, because it's basically pro wrestling, the military game.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. I'd argue it's like pro wrestling, the trench combat simulator, but, like, it's not...
Hold on. I want to stand for you guys professional wrestling.
No,
Well,
professional
being a
wrestling
professional
wishes it had the
wrestler-
characters Gears has. Like, it wishes it had Coltrane and Marcus Phoenix. Like, they are way better than most people in the current WWE.
Well, you realize that they have a pro wrestler in there now. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
Batista's in the game.
Yeah.
he's literally he looks like a Gears of War 3 character.
And,
That's
you
like,
know what? He's looking a little slim for the Gears universe. I'm just saying he's a little meek by Gears standards.
which is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating some. He fits.
But-
Like, he's totally a fucking
Yeah.
Gears character.
He is a large man.
Yeah, like,
I'm surprised you're able to. No, he
No.
blends right to the back.
No, that's someone else.
That is him. He mastered the art of invisibility.
Am I confusing Batista with I'm confusing Batista with Brock Lesnar. Sorry, yeah, this is a universe populated by Brock Lesnar, who somehow built orbital death rays. That's the Gears-verse. Yeah, no, I have nothing bad to say about Gears of War 5. Or Gears 5. Like, if you're not into Gears games, this is probably this is not going to change your mind. Like, there's a ton of great quality of life improvements. Horde mode is still fun as hell. It is another Gears game. It's got a beautiful color palette. At least the PC version runs fucking great. It looks fantastic. Like, if you were looking for, like, the swan song / killer app of the Xbox One, this is it. This is the best Xbox One exclusive to date. I'm willing to say, like, I'm willing to throw that one down, kind of thing. I have had so much goddamn fun playing it. I have nothing controversial to say except, why does Kate have tactical yoga pants? Like, and it's such a small thing where I noticed, I'm like, why am I like this? Why did I pick up on this? Like, well, it's pretty bad, but okay, yeah, fine, whatever. Like, it's still does not track from the fact that she's a cool character. Everyone's kind of
does
like
very much fit in with wrestling world, with pro wrestling world, though.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones which if they gave her more of a belt or just a little bit more leg armor, it wouldn't be that. Like, hell, if the pants were just one uniform color, I wouldn't be able to make this weird criticism. But it's colored in a way that you're like, why? This did not need to be in this game. I feel like an asshole for noticing this. But at the same time, I love the fact this is a world that answers the question of, what does winter Gears of War armor look like? And it's the same, just with fur necklines. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it should be. This game gets it. This universe is ridiculous. And Chainsaw Bayonets turns out are still fucking great. Like, it's fun. It plays great. The quality of life improvements are fantastic. They moved the chainsaw button from melee to there's a designated chainsaw button now. If you have the chainsaw gun, it is great. It's also then like it's under kind of gun attachments at that point, or all fires kind of thing. Like, it's for the grenade lancers, I use grenade launcher. Like, for the chainsaw button, it's lots of really smart moves on their part. I think like there's a couple new guns, if I'm not mistaken. They all feel fine. It is the game I wish Gears 4 had been, but also I love Gears 4 for bringing us angry Marcus Phoenix sits in a room for 20 years, angry at the world, and then like this game. One of the best moments of this game is them recapping the Gears of War franchise up until the start of Gears 5, and like they understand how the only important scene from all of Gears 4 is you opening the door and pissed off Marcus Phoenix is there, because it's the only cutscene they show as part of the recap, and I am fucking dying at that. Like, they're voicing over other stuff, it's just angry, pissed off Marcus Phoenix face, looking you dead in the eye, being like, yeah, I'm still alive, motherfuckers. And then he's in this game too, angrier and crotchetier, but like, I love the Gears franchise. Like, the Baird one was not great, but still was fine. Like, I like the combat, I like the system for it. I'm playing it on hardcore because that's the correct way to play a Gears War game. I like they dropped the war part. Like, the open world setting is a cool setting for a Gears-averse game. I'm actually excited for that kind of XCOM tactical shooter thing now. This completely makes up for the bullshit that is the Funko game. Like, if you like Gears, you probably already own this. It's great and you're having a lot of fun. If you were curious, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with it. If you like don't like pop and lock tactical shooter or cover shooters, you're gonna fucking hate this game. I'm not gonna change your mind on that. Like, don't go into multiplayer. It's insane in there. This is not the game for you if you want to Call of Duty your way through this game, because you will fucking die. It is not that game for you. If you're someone like me that's like, yeah, I want a completely unrealistic trench warfare simulator with chainsaw bayonets and boomers that yell out things, that yell out their attacks before they attack. Yeah, it's fucking great. Love it. It's Gears. All you have to do to make me excited about a Gears game is say, hey, we're making more Gears, and I get excited. The fact this one's like good, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, awesome. I wish the open world parts were better, but I give them points for doing the open world parts. The Jack sidekick system is kind of weird, but it's fine. Like, you have a robot that follows you around and can tase enemies or do stuff, and it's fine. Not great, but it's fine. Like, it adds RPG elements to the game, which make no goddamn sense, but fuck it, why not? I'm real excited for Gears 6 and to finish Gears 5. That's all I'm gonna say. Because we need to move on to the other game I played. Played that Borderlands 3.
How was it?
It is definitely more Borderlands, for better or worse. First hour of that game is really fucking good. First time you play through it. The 3 hours that follow that first hour, I have real problems with, and I'm enjoying the game still. I think anyone describing this game as more Borderlands is accurate. Anyone out there praising how good the combat is a fucking liar that does not remember Borderlands games.
So now I'm curious, because the previous Borderlands games, I was pretty fine with the combat.
Yes, that's the correct response to have to Borderlands game. I guess let's walk through this one. They have definitely improved combat in the game, and this is kind of where things get complicated. So the opening of the game is a pretty tightly designed mission, and you're level 1, all the enemies are level 1, you get a good flat-off pistol right off the bat, and you get tricked. Combat feels unbelievably snappy, like it is on par with Destiny or Doom even. It feels so good, and there's a lie there, because the gun you have is perfectly matched to the enemy level fighting. And once you get beyond that, you wind up in situations where you're starting to measure enemies in clips, and that has always pissed me the fuck off about that franchise.
Lots and lots of hit point bags.
Yeah, so the game has a problem, and it's a problem it did not have at the previous Borderlands. It lives now in a post-Anthem, post-Division 1 and 2, post-Destiny, post-Warframe world where you can upgrade Anthem not so much.
Oh, yeah.
So Borderlands has always kind of lived and died by we have a million guns. The reality is, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 0.7 of that million guns are the ones you actually want to use. Like, 70% of those guns are fucking trash. And we all know they're trash. They're disposable. You turn them in for money. You sell them. You pick them up because you needed a gun that was better kind of situation. And having played a lot of Destiny and Anthem and Warframe and The Division, if I find a gun I really like, I want to keep using that gun. And it's my problem with The Division to a certain extent. Like, it goes back to we were living in a post-Destiny 1 and 2 world. Like, they added infusion to that game because, hey, it turns out if you find a role you really like on a gun, you want to keep using that fucker forever. And it's not fair to say Borderlands needs an infusion system, except for the fact that, like, I have several guns in that game that I got it, and I like they instantaneously made me start liking playing the game more. Like, I've had a couple SMGs I was a huge fan of. I had a battle assault rifle that I thought was a fucking amazing gun, and like you get it, you're like, fuck yeah, this is awesome, I'm loving this. Like, this game is so cool again all of a sudden, and then you fight something that gun isn't the appropriate level for all of a sudden, and you go, oh no, all the fun I'm having right now with the loadout I actually enjoy having is going to end in 2 more levels. I'm gonna have to get all new gear again. Like, there's a solid like 5-hour block of my playtime with that game where I fucking hated my loadout because I could not get a gun I like how they felt shot and the perks on it to draw. It's like, oh, just keep swapping, you'll get something eventually. I'm like, yeah, that fucking sucks, because I had stuff I really liked before I had to swap into it, and the fact that I was like emptying clips into basic enemies is what forced me to swap over, is something I'm no longer willing to put up with, apparently. Like, it is really weird that we still have that system going on. Like, and I get it, like, not every green weapon in the game should be upgradable. I understand the point of Borderlands is swap out your guns, but holy shit, like, I would really gladly trade the obscene number of guns in that game for more good guns I want, or a significant boost to the drop rate of guns I actually want to use.
Well, I mean, it all stems from, the whole idea of that, they really pulled the gun idea, the way they put together guns, from roguelike, where, they just have a bunch of, random, it could be a, different type of guns, different type of abilities, all these things that are randomly put together, generated guns. But the thing is that with the wide range of guns and gun types and effects and whatnot and functionalities, it means that a whole lot of the guns are just going to be garbage. Like, it's going to be combinations of things that don't work work together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. Like there are curated guns, the legendaries, which are the equivalent of the Exotics franchise, all feel great. And I have a loadout I am really loving right now. I got an SMG I like. I have an assault rifle I like. I have a pistol I'm fucking loving. I have a shotgun I am loving. And I know in about 5 levels I'm not going to enjoy the game as much because my gear is going to start being less relevant then, and that's a problem. And it is back when Borderlands 2 happened, you didn't have the same kind of context framework kind of compare against. And I think having that now is a big problem. And that's only kind of in addition, like we're just talking about kind of the backbone of Borderlands right now. This is a looter shooter, and the fact that like the looter part makes me dread it a little bit. Like it is, I've had conversations since that game came out with people about like what if there just weren't levels in that game? Like what if all of the guns did the same damage kind of thing, and it was purely about just finding guns that you really fucking liked and that you could use forever kind of thing. Because eventually you're gonna find a better version of something you like kind of thing. Like I found successfully better versions of guns I was previously using that I thought were better kind of. That's the saving grace of the franchise. But yeah, it's take a step back, I guess quickly. I'm having fun with the game for the most part. I'm not like this is more Borderlands 1 writing than Borderlands 2, but when it goes Borderlands 2 in writing, holy shit, does it go hard in Borderlands 2 style writing, and I immediately go, right, this. Kind of just turn down all your comments all play out. I have not played a story-driven game like this that's so story-driven with as much TV on in the background in a long time. Like Destiny, I'll fucking play with a TV or podcast in the background because of like grinding most of the time. This game has like fucking voice dialogue going off at all the times, and I'm like, don't care, not at all. Fuck it, let me do shit. And at the same time, I'm mad about the fact that like unless you are looking at a character talking to you, at least on the PC version, you can't hear what the fuck they're saying. Like you have to go a surprising distance away from them, like the Echo walkie-talkie system to kick on, and then you get like universally sounding sound. Look, if you're not looking, if you're within like easily 100 feet of that character and you're not looking directly at them, if you just turn 180, their volume drop by like 80%, which makes no fucking sense. You'll do a mission and someone will be talking to you like, oh, there's loot in this room, I'll go loot. And you're like, why the fuck can I hear shit all of a sudden? Like, there are a just slew of baffling technical weirdnesses with this game. Like vehicles have not handled worse in this franchise.
Ooh.
And I don't know why they feel the insistence to like add more vehicle stuff. Like there are more jumping puzzles involving vehicles. There's like vehicle collectibles, and like it's weird because all the collectibles are kind of cool or give you access to good loot, but some of them are just unbelievably bad. Like there's fucking platforming puzzles now in this franchise. This game is not good at that.
Nobody asked for that. No, literally no one.
Like they're not great in Destiny, but at least Destiny gives you a double jump.
Yeah.
Imagine doing first-person platforming shit without a double jump. It's got a mantle, but it's not the greatest of mantles, and I'm not talking side stuff driven by this. I'm talking like there are points in the game where to get to something, it's like, oh, scale this mountain, scale this tower, and you're like, fuck, okay.
Yeah. Why people are buying your game? You're not Super Mario.
I'm okay with some platforming in a first-person shooter. I raid in Destiny. That shit happens there all the time. But
you have, and it feels really good. Like the way that jumping works.
And it's got a double jump. Actually. Like every class in the game has a double jump. That doesn't exist in this game. Like the slide is neat. What I wouldn't give for a side dash instead of the kind of sliding I game. It would just feel better, I think. And at the same time, the number of bosses I have just circle strafed to death. Like I have heard people talk about, oh, the bosses have such great mechanics. I have yet to encounter any of those mechanics. Like everything in this game is point your gun at it and shoot it until it is dead, hoping you have enough ammo. Like the first 10 hours of the game are a fight to have enough ammo. Like the backpack, like for a game that's essentially like it's not a competitive game. Like there is PvP technically, blah blah blah. There's shit you can do, but it's a game that's balanced towards fun in PvE. The backpack upgrades, the ammo upgrades, they're all prohibitively expensive. It's like it's to make you swap weapons. That's cool. You only have 2 guns for the first like 3-4 hours of the games, and at least in my case, I was constantly out of ammo, and that sucked.
Is there no class with sort of a ammo regeneration ability or ammo
I think
limiting?
Moe's has that, but like, so I tried all of the classes right off the bat. I played I did the first mission, got the action skill, tried it out, and I went with Amara the Siren. She has a lot of fun. Her play style, when built correctly, is very much my play style. She has a shit ton of stuff built around. The closer and more enemies that are around you, the more powerful you are. She just
which is what I like. That's the way the Siren was in the first game.
Yeah, it's a little more aggressive. She kind of people have compared her to Rick a little bit more in this game, and I get it. And she's a cool character. She's this bodybuilder. I think it's an Indian woman kind of thing. She has a great accent. She has great quips kind of thing. She is a fantastic character. Mose, I think, has the ammo regeneration. I've seen builds where she just never has to reload ever, and she's got cool stuff hey, you can run and you can sprint and shoot at the same time, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a big deal in these types of games. But I tried her and I'm right, this is the Iron Bear action that I was super excited for. Nope, this fucking sucks. I'm never playing this. People seem to be a lot more divisive about what the good and bad characters are. Black is the Beastmaster character, and I will quit matchmaking if I'm paired with more than one Black.
So why is that?
Black shines. So Black, each of his trees has a pet, and pets are just kind of there. They do damage. They'll revive Black if he goes down, depending on the build you have. As a Siren, they are in my fucking way. It is having two frontliner characters, one of which is just kind of there pulling aggro, is kind of annoying and gets in the way. And Black builds that are the good soloing Black builds go heavy into the pets and don't have a lot of extra. It's a selfish class. Everything Black does benefits Black. A lot of Amara's stuff benefits so many of her action skills. So many of Moses, for that matter, too, are just you and the rest of your team get X, Y, and Z when you do X, Y, and Z. I'm saying it's fine in that regard, too. Two Flaks is a fun party if you're one of the Flaks, I guess. But as someone who needs to be killing stuff all the time to keep my buffs up, it's a problem. It's weird. I played most of the game solo. I've had drop-in, drop-out multiplayer on. I've had some good multiplayer and some bad multiplayer. It's fine. If one or you two were playing, we could totally play, and I'm sure it'd be fine, kind of have fun. But I've had a lot of fun soloing the game, and I don't feel I'm missing anything. I've definitely entered the mode of I'm going to finish this with one character and stop fucking playing. I am not enjoying my time enough with the game to do a lot of side quests or get vested or have any inclination to play the game a second time, either with a new character or for New Game Plus. And so a bunch of my Destiny clan actually is playing it, and they're all kind of in the same boat where it's yeah, we played it, and it's a game. And fuck anyone who says there's end game to this game or whatever. I get what you're talking about. That's not end game. It's the option to replay the game is replayability, not end game. These Slaughter Dome things we have, they're not end game. The fact that end game requires you to be able to upgrade your gear, and you're not upgrading, you're swapping out. Oh, you can get a better version of stuff you already have. That's cool. Why can't I fucking upgrade the stuff I have? I am literally not living in fear, because I'll get over it. It's not a real problem. But part of me doesn't want to play the game more because I love my loadout right now. The Vladoff assault rifle I have is great. Jacob's kind of hand cannon I have right now, the revolver, is great. The all submachine gun I have is great. The Torg shotgun I have is fantastic. I don't want to mess with that loadout because I'm having so much fun with that loadout. But I'm already looking at my submachine gun being yeah, you're not quite cutting it anymore. You're probably getting swapped out in a couple levels. Don't think I'm gonna get another good elemental gun like this, though. That sucks. Okay. I have a Vlad. It sucks to say it, too, because they've done a great job of expanding what the brands mean in this game. Vladoff is super cool. I love doll guns more than I ever have in the franchise previously. They've actually made me dislike Malawan, my previously favorite gun manufacturer in the game. Fuck Hyperion. Their gun trash, in my opinion. The Bandit guns, now branded the Children of the Vault guns, are unique and have unique mechanics to them. They're kind of neat. Jacob guns make you just feel like a motherfucking sheriff no matter what you're doing, kind of thing. They're all heavy hitter, hail drivers. The guns have so much personality. But the flip side of that is I don't like the personality of some of the manufacturers now. Where it's Hyperion, they got shields. Fuck that noise. I'd rather have lots of different firing options. The assault rifle I have from Vladoff right now is machine gun, alt fire, 8-round shotgun. It's amazing. It is so much fun to use. It's got a great scope. It's the machine gun's got a great rate of fire, a giant clip for it, and it's oh shit, still live. Shotgun time before I get my actual shotgun out. The game has so many good improvements over the previous ones, and it just adds up to a weird mix. And something we talked about before the podcast even started. There's a lot of boycotting this game because it's Alex made a fucking joke. We started recording. It's I'm gonna wait for the beta to be over and stuff like that. And if you are not playing this game and want to, because it's on the Epic Store, fuck you a little bit, because there are so many reasons to not play this game. The weird technical issues on PC, or sorry, not on PC, on consoles. The weird technical issues on PC, like there was a save bug that was deleting people's saves at launch. Like, I'm falling through the game is kind of a weird technical mess. It is bizarrely CPU intensive across the board. Like, it's maybe not a great game. Like, if you were hoping for major improvements over Borderlands 2, you didn't get that. Like, anyone who gave this game a 10 out of 10 is a liar. Like, we'll talk about some in our news, but the review situation for this game was a nightmare. Like, various outlets got told, we're not giving you review copies because we want the Metacritic for this game to be good at launch, kind of thing. Like, so much about this game's launch has been a fucking hot mess that is objectionable. Like, object to Randy Pitchford, object to Gearbox, object to the fact that this game's still like, it's the, do you like shit or piss humor or sex humor? That's what this game fucking is. There is so much to object about this game. If you're sitting there being like, nah, it's not Epic, I'll pick it up on Steam, fuck you. Completely fuck off.
Yeah, it's on Epic. I'm not.
You are essentially sitting there going like, no, don't have fun without me. Like that's everyone complaining about this game's on Epic at this point. Like, it's the, you've lost. I get it, you don't like having another launcher, but that's the future we're now living in. We're gonna talk about the Rockstar launcher later on this podcast.
Yeah.
And the nightmare that's now bringing to the table kind of thing. Like, it's there's nothing proprietary about a launcher except it's another icon you have. And I get it. I know I'm come off on this podcast as like not getting it, but if that's your only reason to not play this game right now, don't buy this game ever. Like,
there's better criticisms. Yeah. Well, it's like right now, alright, so I was actually kind of curious on what the reviews are saying. So I pulled up Metacritic, which is, it's okay on that, getting a gauge on that. But it's like, alright, see, there is a wild disparity because of your reasons you said, I'm saying, between the critic Metascore and the user score. Like, the Metascore for the critics is 84. Yeah. The user score is 5.3 out of 10. Yeah. Like, whoa, that's a massive discrepancy. That pretty much, I think that kind of proves your point, to be perfectly honest. Like, they definitely use the threat of not getting an advanced copy of the game for review to get garner favorable reviews of the game on
this
launch.
Game went out to streamers,
it wasn't a threat.
Like
they did it.
Yeah, they
not threat. I mean, they did it. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, that's not good.
I think 4.5 out of 10 is a little bit low. Like, if I had to give this game a numerical rate,
5.3.
Yeah, this is a 4 out of 5 game. Like, it's closer to a 3.5 out of 10 game, but like, I don't believe in half numbers. Like, it is a low 4 out of 5. A barely 4 out of 5 game. Like, it is good, not great, not perfect. Like, this game is and should be polarizing for a whole myriad of reasons that are like completely the game's fault. Like, it's weird because
on a technical, actual level,
on a technical, on a writing, on a gameplay, on like, there are so many things to have valid complaints about this game. Like, it's the fact the game has like at its core a fascinating kind of criticism of modern gaming to a certain extent, that it just kind of high school dick and piss and shit jokes all over is a tragedy of writing. The fact that like the central antagonists of this game are live streams, and their story is like that they have essentially united the bandit clans of the galaxy around kind of a cult of personality and like live stream murders and shit like that, is a fascinating criticism of kind of gaming at its current state kind of thing. Unfortunately, in the game, it comes off as like people that are fucking butthurt about how like PewDiePie or Pro Jared or whoever fuck does video games at this point can like tank or raise a game's score based just on streaming records kind of thing. But like, it's got something to say. It just gets buried underneath the jive talking 14-year-olds and unnecessary character deaths and weird shit that you're like, okay,
Alright, so I'm checking I was just also looking at the Metacritic for all three versions, and they all pretty much have the same, very similar scores. They're all right around 80 for the critic score, and then around 5.5, 5.4 for the user score. And
I'd say 80 is a fair review for this game. I think, like it's not.
Wow, that's a low user score, and
I assume part of that is kind of people tanking it because on Epic stuff like that. But also, if you're on console, you could be fucked. Like the first, I'm not sure if it's a big step as of recording this, but like frame rate issues, like it is. I cannot state how.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of technical complaints.
The technical problems of this game are ridiculous on console.
So one of the complaints apparently is an I guess they found it, and there's a mode in the option that is supposed to be optimized for streamer stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it uploads, I think, like 2.5 megabit per second of bandwidth just to keep that running. So that's only online. It's only multiplayer. I know it was a big hubbub at first, but I believe you can disable that option.
Yeah.
And it does reduce it. So there's that. The save feature is probably the most sucky.
Yeah.
all.
This game was straight deleting people's save profiles that went
Yep,
out. Like
I'm reading that too.
Yep. No, the most fucky one is the fact that the PS4 version runs better than the PS4 Pro version, and same goes for Xbox.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at sort of the reviews, like the user reviews and stuff, and yeah, they are mostly about the technical issues. Like, I'm not seeing anything about the whole Epic exclusivity.
No, and if that's the case, that is great. That's like that is completely valid criticism of this game. Like
I'm seeing. Yeah, that's mainly what I'm seeing here. It's just a lot of complaints about technical issues. Some of them, and some about content as well, like kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah, I don't see anything. I see a couple of things about the exclusivity, but I also see people like, I don't care about the exclusivity.
Yeah.
This is just that they put out a broken game.
Yeah, it's not as broken as like an Anthem or even like, I have Control, so I can't comment on that. But like, it's not as broken as maybe Control was at launch, but it's for a game that's been in the works for 7 years. Borderlands 3 is real weird. If you have a review up that doesn't kind of have a joke about like, man, it's like they ignored 7 years of games that came out since the last one came out kind of thing, you fucked up, because there is so much of this game that's like, like it's weird because it has the Apex Legend ping system, but completely ignores the rest of looter shooter progression in that time and kind of thing. And on one hand, like if it seemed to deliberately be like, we're doing our own thing, we're not letting you upgrade gear, but then like the drop rates match that, cool. The fact that I dread leveling because I have to swap out my gear fucking sucks. And maybe it's like, oh, you're not understanding Borderlands, Charlie. Like, maybe I'm not, but also I'm not at a point in my life where I want to have to re-grind gear every lesson. I don't have that time.
Yeah, I'm also seeing stuff about what you're talking about, the sophomore humor. People definitely were like, groaning about that. It wasn't obviously not a reason for the bad review, really, but they're just like,
better than 2, absolutely, but still it's like, man. And it's a shame, because there are some fantastic characters in the game. The head of Jacob's family, I'm looking at his first name, I think it's Heya. One of the planets you go to kind of Atlas's homeworld and Jacob's homeworld, this kind of crazy jungle, and the now head of the Jacob's family, spoilers I guess, but not really, he's been in advertising, is a fantastic character who happens to be gay, and one of the characters from a previous game is his boyfriend, and like just some of the little story arcs they give them as a couple, and just they're great. They are well written. It's this fantastically interesting character who's like, I come from a family of gunslingers. I am a terrible gunslinger. You're like, okay, let's hear it. And it's like, it's him then like, in a game that's got like fucking people chiming in about how many hits they've gotten off like your friend being murdered or whatever. The fact they have taken time to have a character that's like grappling with, I don't know how my father would feel about me, seeing as I'm now the head of the Jacob family and I can barely hit the broadside of on with a bullet with a gun kind of thing. You're like, okay, this is a human character. I can relate to this. And like they're still stepping up. Like Eden 6 has some of the best writing in the game. Like it is this like Louisiana Hickville writing, but like it's got this weird thing going on where like the residents of Eden 6 want to help out the Jacob because the Jacobs have been good to them and vice versa. And they're like, we'll help the family out because they've been awesome to us, because they're the Jacobs. The Jacobs are like, we must protect the people that have worked for us. They are the backbone of our industry and our family. And you're like, okay, cool. And then the children of the vault chime in. They're like, yo, I can't get laid because I keep leeching the life out of people I fuck. Sucks. And you're like, funny, but at the same time though too, like the dynamic, the twins have something cool going on. There's a cool story that's unfolding as I'm playing it, but then it's also like, yo, we got these murderous bandits. And you're like, oh right, meat bicycles, cool, whatever. Yeah, I get it. It's weird because at the same time they've changed the little people enemies to being called hinks, I think, and they've given them some cool abilities that they make turrets out of scrap and it like that. And there's now female psychos and more female bands. Like, yeah, inclusion.
Yeah.
How did you get some of this shit right and some like how much of this like, yeah, you're still fucking wrong? Like, why is Brick still in this game? Why are we still holding on to a character that whole character is I punch shit good?
Yeah. Maybe it's part of they're trying to please everybody.
I don't know. It's cool, all the callbacks to previous games, and some are handled better than others. Like, my favorite character from 2 shows up, Maya, and she is fantastic. Her mission's been cool. And then Brick and Mordecai and Tiny Tina show up later, and I'm like, man, you could have not been in the game, and I wouldn't have minded at all. Fuck you, Tiny Tina. I still don't like you as a character. They've toned you back significantly, and you're better, but still, it's like, just the voice, I'm like, oh, fucking no. Not this bitch again. But, yeah, I'm still working my way through Borderlands 3. It is a big, long game, maybe longer than I want to be, definitely. It's got problems. We may post a kind of spoilery review of it once I get fully through it. I talk to my clan about maybe doing something with that. It's weird. Like, if you're on the fence about Borderlands, don't fucking get it. Like, I'm not going to say this is one that, like, Gears 5, you should get that game if you're curious about that game. Borderlands 3, 3 don't. Like, Alex, if you were thinking, like, if you were kind of like in the category of like give or pass on this game, pass. This is not a game of the year game. Like, it is maybe just go play Borderlands 2 again.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm preferring Destiny the way they have.
Like, if you're looking for a looter shooter to play right now, may I recommend Destiny? It's in a great fuck spot right now. Like, it's
yeah. So if you had to choose between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3, what would you choose?
Yeah, Destiny 1 maybe, even if you have those two choices. Fuck. So I was talking to someone about this. The more of Borderlands 3 I play, the better Anthem's.
Wow.
Like, acknowledging all the dumb shit that happened around Anthem. The more Borderlands 3 I play, the more I'm like, you know what, Anthem maybe wasn't great, but it's some of this shit better. Iron Manning in that game was real cool. Driving in this game is a chore. Like, if you just gave me a teleport to next mission button, I would fucking hammer that thing constantly. Yeah, like, there are free looter shooters out there right now. Fucking Warframe is a better use of your time than Borderlands, I think.
And Warframe is just pretty gonzo. Warframe is fun. That's a real game. But it's kind of crazy that it's free.
It's got its own problem because it's free, etc., etc. But like, I'm sure it sounds like I don't like Borderlands 3. I'm having fun with it. Like, when the game is good, the game is good.
Well, you said it wasn't, you would give it like an 80 out of 100. So I mean, that's not a bad score.
Yeah, despite the fact that it's an 80 out of 100. People are like, no, it's an 80 out of 100. Slander.
It shouldn't be like, getting, 100 out of 100, 10 out of 10 on all these review sites.
I would give Destiny a 100 out of 100. Like, it's at best 90 tops. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Like, I play shit tons of that game. I'm still like, yeah, you have problems. Not as many as Borderlands 3, but you have problems.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's like, my question is, you know what? Where are those supposed, remember that group that was all about, honesty in games journalism and, like, problem of reviews and stuff? Who are they? Where are they now?
Yeah.
They aren't saying anything?
You mean Video Game Donkey, who's calling out the reviewers? I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had to throw that in there because, that.
Yeah. Yes. That's Borderlands 3.
It's a mixed bag that's essentially still fun, though.
Yeah, it is a fun game. It is fun and nothing else. That is the problem. It's a lot of stuff to do in the game. It's not all of the same quality. Like, there are so many reviews out there like, oh, every side mission is as good as the main quest mission. And I'm like, that's not a good sentence because a lot of the main missions aren't great either. Oh, they feel so full and long. I'm like, yeah, because you got shitty driving to do in them. A lot of the missions in this game are walk through this series of tunnels shooting shit. There's nothing impressive about that at all. You play Destiny, you're like, yes, I do, but I'm not going like, man, the level design in this game is amazing. Man, these quests are great. They're fun. They justify me getting guns. Yes, I get guns. In Borderlands, I go, yay, I have money. I'm gonna sell this shit you just gave me because I'm already lower for level for it. And I already have a good shotgun. Oh, this one shoots skulls? That's cool, I guess. Not the shit damage. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm not having enough fun to ever do a second playthrough of it. They just announced, like, hey, we have Halloween expansion stuff coming. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably play that too because the seasonal free DLCs for Borderlands 2 were fun. They were silly and they were like 2 hours long, and I kind of wish I was done with Borderlands 3 by now. I think I played like 20-25 hours of that game, and I would very much like it to be I can go back playing other games. Like, I know if I go back to Gears 5, I will never go back to Borderlands. I need to see this one through. I know if I go back and Troll, I won't finish Borderlands. Like, I went back to Destiny to do a raid with my clan, and I'm like, you should play more. You should play more Borderlands 2 tonight. You're free, so you can get through it. And I'm like, and hear this out, Charlie. You've been sick. Okay, what if you just watch another season of Superstore? Okay, yeah, that sounds better than playing Borderlands 3. You're right, sick brain. Absolutely right. That sounds like a better use of my time. You might fall asleep. I might fall asleep. Woo! Are you enjoying I'm Dying Up Here? I am. Have you thought about watching that and not playing Borderlands 3 at the same time? I have. Can I do settings? You can tonight. Your laptop's not on yet. Yeah. That's Borderlands 3 so far. What have you two's been up to? I've been sick of playing those games.
Well, mine is very
fair enough.
In the time I was gone, I became the croquet champion world.
I saw your pictures on that.
How
Congratulations.
many people did you crush beneath your what's it like, leather boot? Like, what is the proper croqueting hide?
I was just wearing my work. It was a work tournament. So red K-Swiss shoes.
Okay,
that was my uniform of choice. But yeah, no. So I went out and some of the guys at work were sending out kind of like, hey, before the summer ends, we're gonna do a croquet tournament out here in one of the little field areas. And of course, in Oregon, there's plenty of turf to play croquet on. So we got it set up. The first time I played, I was in the top 3. So what we did was we had two days where two different sets of people played, and the top 3 from each day moved on to play the final. And so I came in 3rd place the first time for the qualifier. Now, here's the fun part. We finally played the real game, and I won, and I didn't know I won. So that was it. Because everyone was like, hey, congrats, man. Shaking my hand. I'm like, cool. So, like, who wins? And they're like, you do. Like, how? Like, you're the last one still alive. Because I thought croquet was point the way they explained it in the qualifier. So here I am not knowing I won, and I won.
Both.
Nice.
So I've looked this up, and they actually do apparently make official croquet shoes. I need to buy these for defending your title next year, Alex. You need to be that guy. You need to be the guy that brings his own bowling ball to the bowling alley. Croquet.
Probably. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. And I guess the guy who was a previous croquet champion, they took the little makeshift plaque off his wall and then superimposed my face over his picture.
That's fantastic.
And hung it in my cubicle. Yeah. So it's his body, my face on black.
That's the way a work trophy like that should work.
So, and then there was somebody's old bowling trophy 2009 they gave me and just put a paper thing over it that says World Champion of Croquet. And but
they can't prove you're not. So yeah, you are.
Yeah, but it turns out it's a placeholder thing because one of the people who works at my job used to do. I think she still does them. She makes custom and awards and all that stuff, right? So she's making a trophy for me to actually have and hold for the year, like a real trophy. So that felt kind of nice. But yes, you're now looking at Croquet Champion of the World according to a small tournament held in Oregon. So yeah, you guys are in the presence of greatness. I want to let you know that. As such, I have demand, Charlie.
Okay.
I need to have Red Bull shipped to my home and be ready for every podcast on Sunday.
That's not going to happen.
Okay. So I need to make sure I have my own exclusive channel on Discord. And so you can make that happen.
We can make that happen. Actually, yeah, we can make Croquet.
And when I join the Discord, Red Bulls must live at my house.
It's not going to happen again. I'll throw it down right now. SWS not recognized croquet as a sport. So cool, you're the champion of it, but we can't get sponsorship for that because we vehemently deny it as a sport, more viewed as a lawn decoration.
Red Bull, if you're out there, the croquet world champion of the world is for a Red Bull sponsor. I would love to wear your logo at the next non-broadcast tournament at work. So throwing it out there, Red Bull, if you're listening.
I would kill for there to be an underground world sponsor tournament that the selling point for it was, and we don't broadcast. I'd be like, damn, I would go to that shit.
It got to be like the underground, you know how in movies they always do underground Chinatown casino, poker and all that stuff. It's always super over the top, and they do they need to do that with croquet. There needs to be a secret underground croquet division in basement, hidden all over the world. And you walk in there, there's always one dude who's got an eye patch for some reason, and nobody really knows why, because he has 2 perfect working sets of eyes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it's like watching what's it called, mini golf championships. You're like, man, I respect how well they play this game, but also what the fuck.
Yeah. So just as far as my gaming goes, croquet has been a thing that's been over my life for 2 weekends only, or for 2 work days only. Actually, let me specify, for 2 work lunches.
Good to find hobbies, Al. Always good to find hobbies and what you're best at.
All that mini golf has finally paid off.
Apparently.
Still obviously playing WoW. 6 out of 8. I got some good progression on another boss. We're almost at the end of the year. So, and then, have you been following any of the leak stuff coming out right now for the new WoW expansion? How crazy it's been?
I'm letting on a secret now, Alex. I don't care about WoW enough to follow.
Well, I may discuss something.
No, that's fine. This is the place to do it. But it's a safe assumption, I think, that if you ask me or Henry, hey, have you been keeping up with WoW news? We'll both be like, classic news? Oh, no? No, then.
Okay. Well, I would like also, as Croquet Champion of the World, demand that every time WoW I have Red Bull.
Again, I'm not sure you're quite getting how this works, but that will not be happening.
Well, we'll work on and on off, my parents are coming up, so I'm excited about it.
Okay.
This is the first time they'll be coming up. I've gone down to see them a few times, and now it'll be the first time they come up and hang out here, so I will show them around the apartment and drive them around Oregon, all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. That being said, I
Fair enough.
Come up with your excuses and memes now for...
I'll do this one step further. Email us why Alex isn't here next week.
Yeah,
yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll listen in, and every time a theory is brought up about my not being here during the podcast, not necessarily through the emails, I expect to be compensated with Red Bulls delivered to my...
Again, what the fuck is with this man?
Look, man, you're talking to the croquet champion of the world. There are standards that need to follow now. Okay,
when you're the bocce champion of the world, Alex,
then we'll talk. There needs to be a Red Bull delivered to my house right now.
When you play a man sport like bocce, then we'll talk about you.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really have a lot of stuff done. Last week was a really rough week. Just tons of work stuff, stressed out stuff that I was burned out. Did not have to do it. But yeah, so I'm back, ready to go. I had some Red Bulls delivered earlier, so be happy. But my fly's running low, Charlie. Need to get on. Yeah, make that work. All right, break. No, but yeah, that's it.
I'll get Chief Sly off Scrump on that one.
Great. Scrump's just gonna break.
Yeah. It's like, you want fucking Red Bull? I brought this bull and painted it red. What more do you want, motherfucker?
Okay.
I'm
You're
still
gonna
a
need
pug.
Red Bull to give you wings because you've got no legs anymore.
Yeah. Just becomes the guy Hannibal with the pigs, with bulls instead of pigs. I have bred these bulls to devour you. Do not ask why. What have you been up to, Henry?
All right, so I am eventually going to get to a game that I picked up and I've been planning on playing because it's this crazy game that has like strategy RPG in it and also other cool stuff. But I haven't played it yet because I'm afraid I'm going to sink way too much time into it. But I'm probably going to play it next week. But in any case, this week I didn't play anything new. I went back and played some of the Valis series game. Which, I mean, it's a small franchise, so I mean, it's not super famous. I mean, they did release most of the games in the U.S. Like most got U.S. for it. And I have the couple of the Genesis games. I have Valis 3 and the U.S. version of SD Valis called Sid of Valis for applicable reasons. Those are hard games. Though I have to say that, I mean, for Valis 3 especially, it improves so much on the first two games that it's, yeah, I mean, let's just say that the first, like, Valis 1 is really clunky. And as far as the original version of the
what is a Valis game?
Alright, so they are side-scrolling fantasy games, sort of one of your sort of goes from our world to another fantasy world type of a game. And so you have the main character Yuko, who you play as, and she gets kind of called to be a hero in another realm, in this magical realm. And that's the sort of, that's kind of the main overarching storyline, is you keep having to go back and forth through this particular fantasy world because, of course, like all fantasy worlds, it's always in trouble from an evil overlord.
Why is this world constantly on fire and why don't we leave?
But yeah, so essentially monsters start invading the town in the first one, and so the magical Valis sword is given to you, and it gives you a magical transformation. So she's also a magical girl.
Okay.
That transforms and gets armor and stuff, but fights with a sword, which is kind of cool. So there again, it's magical girl, but magical girl into sort of high fantasy world. And so, but as far as the ones that I played, the ones that I actually own, Valis 3, it's the cool new mechanic in Valis 3 is that you can choose between 3 playable characters at any point. Like, you just press a button to switch between them, and they all work. The only thing that really changes is their attacks and the magic but that they're so different that it is actually a big difference. So Yuko, the sort of main character, she uses the Valis sword, and she has limited range. Like, there is a power-up thing where when you don't swing, your power level goes up for your sword. It's one of those types of games. And so when you press the attack button, it goes at whatever power you had it at. And so for Yuko, the more power you have, the slight range, you get a slight range improvement for the sword attack. But then you have 2 other characters that you can play as. You can play as a character named Cham, who uses a whip, which has a lot of range, and which is super useful. I usually end up using her. She just has so much better range. But yeah, the other character is Valna, and she's a maid, and so she has range. She has just a long range and wider, like a widespread base.
So, why the return to that?
I mean, it's just fun, and it's difficult. It's a difficult game. I like actual difficulty in games. Its platforming is up and down. It has the very frustrating ice level, which will just ruin you on a first playthrough because it's there again. It's improved so much on the mechanics for the platforming, but the ice level just kind of really throws a wrench in that.
All slippy slidey.
Yeah, super slippy slidey. And unless you really have a good feel on how to utilize the slide, like which is just down and down or down in a direct and jump, you will just die repeatedly in the level. So it's a huge, but other than that, it's a cool game. It's just, I felt like going back to it, playing a good bit of it. It's fun. Now, the SD Valis, or Sid of Valis, is released here. It's basically like a super cutesy version of Valis 2. So it has a storyline from Valis 2, except like super ultra cutesy. It uses kind of the super deformed tiny characters, but its mechanics are floaty and slidey all the time. So it feels like you're constantly in ice world, and so it gets surprisingly super challenging. Like even outside of this sort of really floaty jump and the kind of, you have momentum, a lot of momentum in that game. Like you press forward for a bit, and then if you let go, you'll just slide for a second. So you have momentum. But it's sadly, I feel like I wish somebody else picked it up because I think it's a decent, like, I don't know, I guess maybe I just have a bit of nostalgia for it, but it was a fun series of games, kind of a typical fun, that type of fantasy otherworld storyline. storyline. But I guess the most pressing thing is like what eventually happened to the franchise is it got picked up by they got bought out or sold it off to a hentai producer. So the last series is an awful hentai light or digital novel type thing,
I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna joke like, hey, what happened? Like, oh, that happened with a porn game or something? And
yeah, literally did. It's that's the sad thing about it. It's like such an ignoble end to a franchise that was actually pretty enjoyable. Like the Super Nintendo Valis 4 has really good mechanics. It feels really good. If you have a chance like that, it's fun. I mean, I think the other version, the TurboGrafx, is the better version of it, but the Super Nintendo version is also, they both feel really tight. They basically both, for Valis 4, they just overhauled the whole engine. They just went with a completely new engine, and it's a really nice, tight feeling, like excellent game. And so, I mean, that's the one. If you want to experience sort of the storyline of the series, but with vastly better mechanics, play the Super Nintendo or play the Super Nintendo version of Valis 4. It's just called Super Valis. They didn't, or the PC Engine version of Valis. Both of them. Both of them. But it's I don't know. I guess it'll just put it out there, and I guess also it's like the idea that, you know what, I really want I want a Genesis Mini. It's getting good reviews. It does work with a third-party control, though only very specific ones that will work properly. But it has so many games. Like the Genesis Mini has 45 games on it, and it's not just filler. They actually picked out, those are actually the games that sold really well. I mean, they've done that for the most part with these mini systems, I'd say. I mean, but the Genesis Mini is just really packed with some fantastic games, and they also went with the idea of, we're not just going to put 50 installments of the same game. We're not going to have they pick like Streets of Rage 2, which is probably the best of the series. 3 is fun, but 2 is really excellent. So they tried to kind of include the best of a series rather than trying to include all of the series, and as such, you have 45 separate games where not like sequels. So I mean, and I like that. It just means that we get more different games. Yeah, like more different games. So I actually, even though I own a Genesis and several games, and I own I also have a lot of games on my Steam Genesis account. I want the Genesis Mini, but I also want you can buy the optional non-functional Power of Hour parts from Japan, which adds on the Sega CD onto the bottom and adds 32X on top, as well as the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge and a Sonic cartridge on top. Now, none of these are actually functional, but you could actually build the ridiculous Tower of Power for the Genesis. So I think I'd actually, if I was going to get a Genesis Mini, I would also be very tempted to shell out the extra money for completely useless add-ons that are just hilarious. I can't believe they actually made a tiny Sonic and Knuckles cart, as well as a Sonic 3 cart to slide into it as well. Both non-functional. In other news, I watched some anime, new and old, and the old one I watched was Paradise Kiss, which, unless you have the DVD set, you aren't going to be able to find it because it's like from 15 years ago. So I don't think they've even released it or anything. But it's neat. It revolves around a student that basically kind of roped into being a fashion model by basically just kind of runs into these people that are in a fashion building and that are kind of have their own sort of shop of the sort that they're trying to put together. And it's sort of about more about the personal relationship. It also gets a little bit into what is the fashion world like? What is it like being in a fashion school and an art school essentially? And I like that. I don't know. I'm a fan of that. A lot of fun. I hadn't watched it in ages, and I hadn't even watched all of it. I mean, it's also more of a mature storyline, and at this point, it's like, I don't watch any anime that takes place in high school. It just isn't really relevant to me at all. Like, I'm very much a grown-ass adult. So like, those aren't going to be as interesting to me. They just aren't. So I'm generally still kind of on the lookout for things. Oh yeah, I also finished out watching all of something I mentioned last 2 weeks ago, which is the what about Japanese snacks and sweets for the older style.
Yeah, what
one.
is the finale for a show like that?
It's, I don't know. It's still, I guess it's. I mean, this is a recent one, but I don't think they're going to come out with another series. It only finished not too long ago, the second season, I think. But it was all really more about just this sort of total love, or just a love letter to Japanese snack sweets, about their history and fun stuff, and just being kind of silly. And so it doesn't really end with a sort of closing off for the plot, because the plot is basically that you have, just to reiterate, you have a small town snack shop, and the daughter of the owner of a well-known major snack company comes to headhunt the owner of this snack shop, because apparently he's really talented. And And so in order to
daughter
do that,
burns the store down for her. Got it.
but yeah, she's basically the anime consists of her trying to convince the son to take over the shop so that the father can come join the company. And so it just ends up kind of being that. The second season is interesting. Well, one thing they did with the second season is they cut all the episode lengths in half. So there was only, your kind of 24, 25 minute. Now it's only 12 minutes. Same number of episodes, but half content. But the original episodes were kind of cut up anyway. Like they kind of would have basically 12 minutes to run through sort of a small story. So, I mean, it wasn't that much of a change in terms of that. It was just less content. So, and they introduced some new characters that are kind of fun, and I feel like should have been introduced in the first season when they actually had more time to do it. But in any case, I like the way, it was, there again, it didn't really end. Nothing was really decided when it came to that.
Sure.
But it's interesting because it also goes, the second season starts going into a little bit about something that they rarely ever talk about in the first season, which is the fact that the son's major dream is to become a manga artist. That's really what he wants to do. And they finally get into that in the second season, and there's a story arc around that. And they almost, it's like mentioned in the first season at the beginning, and then rarely ever kind of callbacks to that throughout the rest of the season. Kind of weird. So I guess I've been watching more anime. I also watched My Little Pony last season. Nothing super notable about that other than I'm still enjoying series.
Well, if we're good to move on, we have a shit ton of news to get through.
I'm done.
We're gonna start off this week with our Fortnite news because fuck it, why not? Sorry, I jumped ahead too hard. Sorry, Alex. Thing you have to do now.
Yeah.
Well, and apologies, Alex. Croquet champion of the world, Alex.
Yeah. So to translate back.
Fuck that! All right. For Fortnite news of the week, Tilted Towers, apparently a part of the map for that game, is now Goth City. It's also a bunch of Batman stuff.
Yep.
I'm Batman.
That's about it.
Yep. Can you play as Batman or not? I couldn't actually figure that one out.
There is a Catwoman skin you can unlock,
but not. I'm not.
It's
sure
not like playing as
Batman
Thanos, though. It's not, you don't become more powerful than the average player.
No.
No, there is a Batman skin. Yeah.
Batman, you're not like that.
Yeah.
But they unfortunately went with the Batfleck skin, or at least one of them is. Oh, hold on. They also included a Batman Begins. They've included a Batman Begins and a Chris Nolan Batman.
Is there a Batman Beyond?
No, then that's the one they should include.
Sorry, George Clooney Batman skin, best skin. Thank you.
Bat nipples.
Fuck yeah, Bat. One of his power. I mean, it's, you know what though? It would be perfect for a game like Fortnite.
Yes.
Because remember in the movie, he pulls out his Batman credit card, and we all know the biggest superpower in modern games are credit cards. You can buy fucking DLC.
Thematic.
Yeah. Never leave home without it. The Bat card. Bam! Let's get on it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, Fortnite.
I just dropped the ball on that.
Yep. I expect Red Bulls to be delivered to my house because of this idea.
Yep.
Okay, you've beat joking now. First off, the official drink of SWS and Wicked Awesomecast is NOS energy drinks. 2, we're not sending you red.
Okay, I expect fresh NOS's delivered.
Heroin, cocaine, weed because you're in Portland, an angry Albanian woman to punch you in the nuts. These are all things we could have sent to your house, but we cannot, through our supply chains, get you free energy drinks.
All right, well, moving on from that early news.
We already kind of talked about this, but it bears kind of bringing it up in a more formal sense. The Borderlands 3 had a bit of a weird review situation. We hit that when I was talking about it, but kind of lay it out around. A bunch of media outlets got contacted saying, yeah, we're not sending you a copy of the game for a variety of reasons, most of which seem to kind of be, you didn't seem super stoked about this during E3. And where it gets weirder is kind of prior to game release, it was only PC versions, and they weren't sending you a full game, they were sending you an Epic account to log into, so I still think it's up in the air whether or not that progress will transfer over to your main Epic account, or what the future of said accounts are, but yeah, that was super messy. But yeah, places that got review copies were kind of all over the place, and a bunch of what you'd view as the more mainstream news outlet didn't get it. But,
just because I did a little bit of reading on this one here, so they did end up sending review copies, but they sent it the day before the game releases.
Or day of.
Yeah, so that they could have a good review, but the ones who have shown favorable reviews have actually did get their early copies, so all the big ones that are always
what do you know?
And we were talking about this when we started recording, actually, that, like, I don't know about YouTube, but, like, my fucking YouTube was flooded with the day before the game even came out, like, best so-and-so builds for Endgame. And I'm like, what shit is going on?
Wow.
And also, one of the other crazy things, they were getting the copy that was not the release release one, but
Nope.
like a beta. So they could be like, well, this is a beta version that you're playing, so any technical issues obviously won't be in the real game, but some of those technical issues are in the real fucking game.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why they would send fucking like a beta copy when the game's almost out, and send a fucking retail copy. That's what you're supposed to be. No, there's a bunch of shady bullshit going on.
This tells me they were probably crunching the crap like out of their dev. That there was all of it so last minute. I mean, and we see that in the plethora of crash bugs, that just technical stuff that should have been ironed out months ago, not released in a buggy state at launch. So I mean, I think that's that. Well, and that's probably the reason why they got a buggy version of the game. For the favorable reviewers that got an early version of the game, they got a buggy version because that's all they had. That's what they released. So yeah. So I suspect this is yet another AAA game where they just abused the devs until they got it out on time. I'm not saying that's a fact, but I'm saying looking at the state of it, they certainly churned it out to hit a release date.
Well, you also have to think game like Fallout, where if it's a live service game, it's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, the game shipped out broken, and we did move in it, but hey, we'll fix it over time. Don't worry, guys. It'll be okay.
Speaking of one of those fixes, it's still a problem, but like they made a point of getting out there and saying like, we got some bosses in the game that when you put elemental damage on them, they just kind of run around screaming. We've reduced the amount of screaming they do, and it's still too much.
Yep. No, there's some absolute bullshit. And I think due to the fact that Fallout 76 being the garbage fire that it is, still is, the fact that they were able to get away with buying the game, them being like, oh yeah, don't worry guys, we'll just patch it and fix it later.
Yeah.
Stupid. And you're gonna see it happen. I mean, hell, look at Anthem. Anthem was released. There's tons of shit that's kind of just not really there as far as you. Oh, don't worry, we'll just patch it.
You want to talk about Anthem quickly? We actually have Anthem news. You want to use that as our transition
point?
Sure.
Anthem, the well-supported, beloved, definitely not dead on the vine, looter shooter from EA and BioWare. They got out there and said, yeah, all long-term plans for that are being scrapped, but the game is definitely not dead.
Oh man, I called this shit.
I don't so much call that, it's just like you were like the rest of us going, yeah, pretty sure it's dead.
I think, and I could be wrong, pretty sure in a previous podcast I was saying this game last year.
I don't think any of us have said it's gonna last longer than a year.
I'm not gonna make the Red Bull joke, just like this game.
Yeah. Allegedly, they're gonna support it. Like, it just moved to the cheaper tier of the EA subscription stuff, so curious. So check it out, I guess. The correct reaction point. We go from here. You want to talk about Surfetched? The new Farfetch'd?
Oh, yes, Surfetch'd.
Yeah, let's do a quickie, yeah. So, we have a new Pokemon for you, or is it just a redesign of the existing Farfetch'd?
Yeah.
So it's not an actual evolution? Like, is it a real...
I think it's just a new regional.
Really?
Yeah. No. It's a regional evolution.
Okay.
So, yeah, Farfetch'd that inhabit the Galar region can evolve into Surfetch'd after experiencing many battles. So it's a regional... Yeah, that's interesting. Not just a variant, it's a regional evolution.
It's also exclusive version of Sword.
It has the sword, yeah.
Well, it has a sword and a shield.
Yeah.
That's
you can play it in the other one. You have to trade for it. But yeah, Surfetch'd. Not much more to say on that. It's a Farfetch'd sword to shield.
The only Pokemon, one of the only Pokemon smart enough to actually have weaponry.
It's a bird.
And it has the exclusive move is the Meteor Assault, new move that only Surfetch'd can.
All right.
I thought it was gonna be like fuck your mom because it's a lord and it's a knight. Like, I am just too fucking awesome.
I feel like this will be a nice replacement for that Winnie the Pooh meme, where like it's Winnie the Pooh sitting there, and then Winnie the Pooh in a suit, and then Winnie the Pooh with a top hat and a monocle. There's gonna be a Pokemon version of that with just their regular Farfetch'd, and then
yeah, or sticking on the ridiculous stuff. Hey Alex, why are people mad about backpacks and WoW?
Okay, so this is gonna be fun.
Oh, so, I know. I read this one. I'm like, oh, this will be fun.
So a couple months ago, Blizzard's or World of Warcraft's which in the past what you would do is would send a link to a friend. They would play the game. You would get like double or a super experience while you're grouped up with your friend as you step. And if they decide to buy the game or buy a subscription, you unlock like mounts, stuff like that. I've actually recruited past, and I have recruited. So they finally brought back the system, and they're giving out some players have been asked for a customization for it back. But it's locked behind not just a paywall, but a social pay. So in order for you to unlock the items in the new recruit a friend, you have to recruit a friend, and then that friend has to recruit a friend, and then also buy the game. And so it basically it's fitting that it's the Oldham theme because it's very much a WoW recruiter in order for you to unlock them. Yeah. So I guess somebody was doing the math, figuring out how they get the items, but having them do it themselves. If you were to do this yourself, just by making extra accounts and doing all that to unlock all the items, it would cost you about 2 million gold worth of WoW tokens or $200 cash. So, but yeah, that's the thing though. It's a different, because the back piece has always been a cake. That's always been with there. Just recently with the Taurans and their race transmog, they have like a totem they can wear now. But like, yeah, backpack's something they've been asking about for cosmetics for a while. And of course, in true Blizzard Activision nature, there's something new and refreshing, and it's locked behind a different. But yes, that's. Oh man, it was great too, because everyone's just like, this basically a next level Blizzard pyramid. Essentially, in order for you to get some of them, you have to recruit a friend, and then they have to recruit more people. So if you've ever wanted, if you're really good at multi-level marketing, this is your time to shine. Just say.
But why is the backpack part pissed off?
Because that's something people have been asking for a long time, as something you can unlock.
Is it the only backpack in the game?
Yes, it's the only known cosmetic backpack in the game, and it's locked behind the recruit friend page.
That's shitty. While we're in our, I guess, WoW news corner, person who was DDoSing the servers appears to have been arrested.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That story ends pretty straightforward. You do that, get arrested. I have no.
Just like good.
And kind of in a similar vein to that, apparently providing people a legit way to play classic WoW has just been, well, decimating the illegal air quotation on that kind of WoW fan servers that are out there.
Which,
makes sense.
In this case, I'm just like, well, okay.
No. And I only bring this up because, remember, this is the same company that was like, you think you want this, but you don't.
Oh, no. That's why I thought it was so fitting that the same guy who said, you think you want Classic, don't, was the one who had to announce Classic. So, and it's actually, it's been one of the biggest draws that has actually increased Blizzard stock as a result. So they've actually generated a lot of income, because the same subscription for WoW retail is the same subscription for WoW. You have one subscription, you have, you don't need to buy any, you don't need to do any, you just literally only need to have a subscription active in order to, like, which I thought was a genius. Yeah, it's almost like provide a medium for people to enjoy, so go through illegal means.
Well, so I was thinking about this the other day, and I realized that, like, what they could start doing and maybe would piss people off is if you started kind of sharding off different expansion levels.
There's been talks of
yeah.
I mean,
like
it's all speculative.
Yeah. Like, you could play one character up through all the expansions if you want to, kind of correct sequential. But,
it's a thing, but yeah. So,
Yep. Oh, yeah, no.
But again, and this is kind of related to it, but it's almost like we'll go through shady means to get it if it's hard. Find a medium where people can buy it.
Yeah.
But that's an argument for, like, not anyway. Yeah.
Speaking of drugs and getting healthy, Nintendo, they got that, they have what's much more details on that exercise, the weird ring, if you will.
Yeah.
We had so much fun making. So, first off, it is indeed an exercise device. I think we speculated on how it would work, and we were kind of more or less correct. Again, one of those weird kind of resistant flexy things called It comes with a game called Ring Fit Adventure. Its trailer is a bit of a nightmare.
Can I just say, Nintendo has never been afraid to do out there, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, they experiment, and not necessarily every single experiment is like a huge hit, but honestly, they've done more hit and misses, definitely in recent times. I mean, I'll say that their last kind of miss was the Wii U. It's not like it's terrible. It's just like
I'm just always down for gamification of exercise points.
Yeah, I'm perfectly cool with that. I think it's cool. Like, Wii Fit board was cool. It was fine, and you could do a lot of stuff with it. But like you said, the gamification of exercise. Hey, you know what? If it gets more people into doing some sort of regular exercise, hey, that's really, like, I don't see any downside to that.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that apparently it's going to have a silent mode, which will give you quieter versions of the exercises. So that you don't just stomp on the ground constantly when you have, like, people downstairs.
That's perfect for people who live in apartments.
It says like, it means the, like, jog in place exercises are replaced ones that are a little quieter, that'll still exercise your legs and but not, like, drive your neighbors insane. That's the it comes. I also like the fact that the leg strap just looks like it's just a leg holster, like a gun leg holster. I think it's kind of hilarious that's just literally what it looks like.
The power of gun.
Yeah.
On the less fun side of Nintendo, though, they are also in the process of suing the shit out of another ROM site. This one's ROM Universe, and where you get up in arms and like, they won't hurt anyone. This was a site that was charging a subscription for access to ROMs, like unlike other ones where it was kind of an archive. This was deliberately making money off. Which, we've talked about that.
I think they were keeping even not just like classic games, but like newer ones too, like newer systems. It's like not like it was just a bunch. Some of the other ROM sites is like they just have a ton of NES games or whatever. It's like, well, those are older games and a lot of them are unavailable. From
an archival purpose, you're fine.
But I think as far as I know, ROM Universe was keeping like 3DS games and stuff. So that's when you start to roll into those are still out and available.
Well, it wasn't also just that. They had a premium account sign up for.
Oh, they even had Switch game.
Where you would pay to get like better bandwidth or faster access to some game, which is
But they had Switch games too. So that's like, that's the current Nintendo's current newest system. So they're going to come after you for that one. That's just kind of silly of them to even think they get away with that on the internet. That is, I mean, sure, black market, that of course that exists. But they had to imagine that Nintendo wasn't going to completely ignore the fact that they're hosting Switch games, which kind of blows my mind. Yep. That was
indeed. I guess we're kind of talking. Man, Tokyo Game Show just got done happening. I think it's done by now, right?
Yeah, it was last weekend.
Yeah.
It was over like the kind of like journalist and sort of company only part was the first couple of days, and then it opens up for everybody on Saturday, which is probably what EA is. That what EA does now? Do they have kind of like a section that where they don't allow anybody, and then
not really? You're talking about the EA Play event thing?
Well, no, I'm just talking about EA in general, where they take it. Tokyo Game Show is basically split into two parts, and not all of it is available to the general public.
Are you sure you mean EA?
No, Tokyo Game Show is like that.
You keep saying EA. Like I'm not sure what EA is.
But yeah, sorry, E3.
Yes.
E3.
We'll talk about E3 in a minute or two.
But yeah, I'm just saying that the Tokyo Game Show runs in such a certain way where like access to everybody was on Saturday, opened on Saturday or last Saturday. Yeah. Not a whole lot of new titles were announced.
A
lot of VR though,
which is cool.
Yeah, a lot about this like sort of streaming,
like 5G is.
Yeah, and so I mean, and that's the thing that's going to be, and we've talked about that. For example, especially with something like I mean, if you want to have game streaming services that are like for modern systems, for higher end systems, you're going to need better bandwidth for that. And like 5G, they have 5G game integration. So I mean, that's interesting. It is interesting to see that was a big topic there. But otherwise, there weren't a lot of new games. It's like most of the new games are really kind of announced around E3 and not,
So apparently, in a weird twist, there's like a mid-game show coming up in the near future, and I think I saw something like Last of Us 2 was going to have a big show in there. Who the fuck knows what's going on at this point?
We saw. I mean, it includes stuff, right? So Neo 2 is that's they actually had a playable version of that. So people actually
I played a closed beta alpha for that thing. It's more Neo.
Yeah, I mean, people like Neo. Yeah. If you like Neo, there again, it's like Neo 2 is probably just a more polished version.
You're not playing as weird white dude, as best I could have remembering it now.
A new Dragon Ball Z game, which, it's like
the Kakarot
popular.
Thing?
Yeah,
that's been known.
That's been known. But yeah, there again, it's like, I guess the biggest thing to come out, at least the most popular thing, was a whole lot about the Final Fantasy VII remake. So people got to see a lot, actual gameplay from it now. So, I mean, that apparently garnered the most attention, which, for good reason. For better or worse, whatever you think about Final Fantasy VII, it was definitely a hallmark series. It was a move to 3D console. But one of the things that's interesting about it is that got also revealed is the fact that it's basically going to have an option for two different versions of the RPG battle. So it will have a modern style, like what we've come to know from the more recent Final Fantasy games, that sort of RPG style, or from other modern RPGs. But also it's going to have a sort of classic mode RPG style battle too, that harkens back more to the Final Fantasy era of RPG, or the kind of more fixed style. And so I think they're basically going to kind of do game mechanics. So yeah, we'll do that. I mean, there's a lot more. Well, it's like got to see like almost an hour worth of gameplay from Death Stranding. So that's a thing. So we're actually getting to see a lot more about. So what do you do in this weird art project? So I mean, that's a pretty big reveal. But there again, not new. I mean, a handful of smaller games got announced, but nothing major got announced. So that's the thing. No major, what you might consider a major AAA franchise got announced.
I'm trying to remember what the last big thing to come out of BGS though was. Even a couple.
I guess Resident Evil's newest one got announced there.
Yeah, let's talk.
Project.
Yeah, the puzzle box game. I guess let's jump to that. I guess so. I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago, but I can't remember at this point.
I don't think we did. But anyways,
so there were rumors that there was a new Resident Evil game coming.
Yes, we did say that.
Yeah, and they've detailed it, and I think we all were making jokes about it being like another fuck shooter from them. And this one actually is kind of cool. Like it seems they learned their lessons from 7 about what people like, and are kind of doubling down on that because this thing is kind of Dead by Daylight and also kind of puzzle game.
Mm-hmm. So it's a 4-on-1 asymmetrical game as they've become known now. It's become its own genre essentially. But yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah,
I mean essentially it's 4 people working together.
I'm trying to remember what the game is called, but it reminded me in a good way of there's this Japanese game where you're like making booby traps to knock people.
Deception.
Maybe, yeah.
Deception. Tecmo's Deception.
Yes. Like it's kind of got that vibe going on, minus the scantily clad women and the ridiculousness of it. Like it's the puzzle room aspect is the 4 kind of protagonist characters, I guess is probably the right label for them, are trying to get out of a Umbrella Lab, and the mastermind is setting up traps and dropping zombies and all that jazz to get away off.
Yeah, that's the 50. The other player playing is the mastermind.
No, so and probably where this one differs from previous ones is you're not directly.
You're more like kind of what the AI director does in Left 4 Dead in the Left 4 Dead series. Sort of you're managing of a sort. it. You're kind of you're the director and you're the mastermind.
It appears you can take direct role though too, so not a ton of details yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, it says that you can take control of a tyrant.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
I want to be a lictor.
Yeah, but also, you can. It also says you can control Dom to direct role. But there again, I mean, I think it would get a little too boring for somebody if all you were doing was direction and you weren't actually
the cell for this is absolutely the kind of Saw-esque jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, that's also the cool part of it. It's combining that idea when it do, and you know what? I like that. You know what? There's a reason why the whole the escape rooms are so popular now, because it's interesting, it's fun to try to, especially working as a team to figure stuff out. And I've talked about this before. I love cooperative games. I just love cooperative games, especially games that not only reward you but absolutely require actual cooperation. Right? And this sounds like it's going to be along that. I want to see what more mechanics are going to have worth that. But yeah, I think that's really interesting. An interesting part in the franchise. I think I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. It'll be a nice successor, or rather, kind of a modified evolution of their original game, Outbreak.
Yes.
Well, no, Resident Evil Online is their.
No, well, Resident Evil Outbreak was their online. I had it.
You sure that predates? That's the one that was like 4 players, right?
Outbreak? I believe so. Let me see.
We might be talking about the same game. Because I thought Outbreak was something else.
Outbreak was their version of that game out. 2003.
Yeah.
But that one was more just people cooperating together. There wasn't no master. So it's just kind of combined.
We are talking about the same game. I thought it was called Online. Yeah, it's the. That's actually an okay game.
I think this is one to look forward to because honestly, the last Resident Evil hit it out of the park. They just did a fantastic job, and they're unlike apparently Borderlands 3, they're actually really looking at what's popular now, what's been happening, what's been done in the gaming world, what improvements or what
I think they're
interesting
looking at
ideas are out
7
there.
Was such a gamble in so many ways. Like it's a very different game, and it seems to have paid off in a big way.
Well, 7 was also there again, like looking at what is the modern gaming landscape like? How could we make a game that will work now? That will that takes into effect what gains have been made, what people like, what improvements have been done. So, I mean, I think it's and what can we do with this franchise that's going to make it fresh and not just feel like a retread? So,
where to go from here?
I guess I'll just mention real quick. Also, we got the Neo Geo arcade stick. What it actually is, and that's just really briefly. So it's kind of a disappointment for me personally because so it is actually a system, which is interesting. It's a joystick that is actually a bound-in system with 20 games installed on it.
It also works as just joystick too.
It does. It works as just a USB joystick, though it is freaking massive, gigantic. But yeah, it comes
as everything Neo Geo should be.
Yep, and also you can plug in other controllers into it. So, I mean, you can play multiplayer games with it as a system itself.
Yes, you heard that right. You can plug controller. Alex, make your Dude Pimp My Ride joke now.
No, I'm above.
Fair enough.
but however, its list of games. All right, remember what I was saying about the great thing about the Genesis list of games, about how they didn't include lots of sequels, so you get to 45 different games. 20 games for the SNK, for the Neo Geo arcade stick.
There's a lot of King of Fighters on this.
There's a lot of everything. Like they included 4 Samurai Showdowns, 6 King of Fighters games, 2 Fatal Fury games, 3 World Heroes games. Kizuna Encounter, Ninja Masters, one Art of Fighting game, and just first fun. So and Ninja Masters, which was a terrible release game. And Last Blade 2 was probably one of the best games included. I mean, Guru Mark of the Wolves is also a really good game. That'll
make a lot of people happy. I know that's one that people really seem to have a fond for.
Yeah, but and I like the King of Fighters games they've included. I mean, 97, 98, 99. The 97 through 2002 is my favorite era of King of Fighters. And so, but there's no, Metal Slug, anyone? I mean, they didn't include any Metal Slug games on here.
I don't know. I think this thing is for fighting game people for the most part.
But yeah, I could see that, but I mean, not including something like Metal Slug, instead including 6 King of Fighters games.
Yeah, but there's like a billion ways to play Metal Slug though at this point too.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of different releases, but I mean, there's just countless other SNK Neo Geo games they could have included. I mean, it's actually a really substantial library. I mean, if you actually look it up, it's a lot of games, and they just did a bunch of fighting games. Which I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it's limited. But also, why include like war Samurai Showdowns and 6 King of Fighters? I mean, yeah, I get it to a certain extent, but it's like you got 20 games here, but it's really like you got 8 because of so many sequels being. 3. Did we really need 3 World Heroes games on here?
I'm gonna guess again
that's
go
not
to,
really
I'm not
even
sure
that...
this thing is for us necessarily. Malpractice, Curtis Cold. I think this is for a very specific crowd of people. Yes, lacking Metal Slug is a thing, but also, I don't know, the fact there's like every fucking fighters on this thing is kind of cool in my book. Every Sam show that matters is on here is kind of cool. Like, it's, again...
Did we need 3 World Heroes? That's not even that great of...
I'll go one step further and say, did we even need this thing, period? Like, would it be better off just as, like, a re-release collection of all of these games? I think, like, when you get down to the did we need X or Y, you're really having a conversation of, why can't I just buy Sam Show 3 for $3?
So yeah, it is disappointing that they didn't just, actually put more games, more types of games, where it's like, lots of fighting games and, like, one of them that not. I mean, at least it still works as a general, arcade stick. I mean, how high quality that is, I don't know. I don't know what type, if it's what company that they're using for the, especially joystick and the button, they're using high quality parts or not. But yeah, I mean, that's the side thing. It's just also it's also an arcade stick.
Yeah, yes, it's no Capcom arcade stick. I missed that ridiculousness so well. That giant arcade logo thing. Let's do a quick dumb one. The Offspring. I gotta play World of Tanks.
And I'm like, World of Tanks still exists?
My takeaway from that
and
was...
Offspring still exists?
That was my reaction. Like, I know World of Tanks exists, I get ads for that still, but the Offspring are still relevant?
Whoa.
Should it be yeah, if we're talking about the Offspring?
I like
yeah.
The Offspring is kind of it has some interestingness to the members of the band.
Is it big in the, like, World of Tanks community? Are they like, fucking, like, I don't play World of Tanks. Like, if I did, I'd be like, fuck yes. All the streamers listen to this. Like, this is the game. This is the soundtrack of our game. Like, yeah.
You wouldn't know it, but the lead singer guitarist, Dexter Holland, he has a PhD in molecular biology. Yep. The dude's super intelligent.
He also voiced 9 of the tanks in World of Tanks. Did you know that?
Did he really?
No, you don't voice a fucking tank.
Good. Well, you could. Thomas the Tank Engine is...
That's not what World of Tanks is at all.
Transformers, Robots in Disguise.
Again, not World of Tanks. These would be games I'd be more interested in. Like, unless you sit there going like, which is like a Metallica thing at that point to do.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I mean, shit. For South Park, they had George Clooney voice a dog.
Yeah. So, but anyways, that's the thing that happened.
This was not supposed to be a dissective thing. This was supposed to be a dumb throwaway one. We have more important things to get to.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Rockstar. Wow, my voice is fucking up this week. Rockstar just announced their own PC game launcher.
Okay.
If you download it now,
I hope it's good.
People are taking this as proof that Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to PC, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't put my money on that, but this makes it more likely, I guess.
If they're smart, they make it the hub Grand Theft Auto. They're going all sales, do some of sales.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not too surprised. I mean, they've got enough games now where it probably actually makes a lot of sense for them to have their own launcher. It's not so much even they have, especially online stuff, like having so much online stuff.
Oh, I was going to say, just like based on the amount of money Grand Theft Auto makes a month in aftermarket sales, like it almost makes sense to be like, hey, you download this, you get Grand Theft Auto 5 free, and then you're getting 100% of the Shark Card sale, opposed to whatever the split on Steam is.
Yep. Yeah, but even then, they've already had the Rockstar Social. You had to have it on their system anyway in order later. Mm-hmm. This is just the next evolution. Yep. Like you've already had to have social.
Yeah, that's the argument for Fortnite. Yeah, the Rockstar Store, my word. Speaking of bad, good transition. That's equally scummy. So this is kind of weird. We don't typically cover leaks, but this one is official enough. We're going to talk about it. A internal, marketing kind of hitch document from the ESA concerning E3 2020 and the future of EA. E3 cut out there, kind of between last podcast and this, and it is a doozy of a thing. It is beautifully tone deaf. It is pandering. It is kind of everything I have cynically been saying E3 is gearing up to do since E3 started inviting in people for paid public access passes. My voice is shot because I'm sick for the last week or so. Would one of you two like to outline kind of what we learned about how the ESA views E3 so I don't crack my way through this one?
All right, so number one, one that makes me go, is now they're going to really push the whole social media influencers and celebrities playing video games games at Experience Hub.
So, and before we kind of get like too influencers bad, kind of the PAX monster still. Like it's a personality-driven show. Not the worst thing, maybe not what E3 has been historically, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. It's basically watching Twitch in person.
Yeah.
Which I have to say for the influencers and the celebrities doing it probably adds a little extra like weird feeling, when like tons of people are watching you play a video game in person where they're right there. Okay, that's a thing that's going to happen. They are wanting to they want to try to reach out more to just at least they're talking about more tickets or additional tickets for consumers, for the general public type ticket. So I mean that's just obviously a bid to probably make money at, and also just because the whatever it is it relevant? That's actually and we've discussed at length, is a valid question. Paid media partnerships with major outlets like CNBC so they can control their content and message that they put out in a marketing sense. So that's another thing. I mean, yeah, and so they're also considering the way the Tokyo Game Show, I mentioned that, the way that they do it, where there's a couple of days that are only for industry and journalists, and then they open it to the general public. And so the ESA is considering that for E3, that they might go with that model, which, that makes sense. It works for the Tokyo Game Show. It might work for E3 as well. So, yeah, in a certain sense, at least they are sort of, I guess, considering that, hey, we actually need to rethink this whole E3 thing.
I don't think anyone's objecting to E3 needs to evolve.
Yeah. But the ways in which are, I don't know.
Exactly, and you've still not gotten to my favorite part of this whole slip-up.
It is
banking on goodness.
Yeah. Good. All right, the power of social good?
Yeah, so...
Okay, yeah.
Basically, the ESA got out there as part of not got out there, but as part of this kind of said, like, if we do right by the gaming populace, when we fuck up a la loot boxes or something, we can kind of cash in that shit. A literal phrase that was used by this to kind of, like, steer through shitstorms.
Yeah, so basically to make it a positive marketing blitz so that they can, like, so they can point back and say, hey, remember these good things we talked about, the good things the industry's doing? Well, remember those? So that's like, I mean, that's very much, as you said in the outset, that is totally tone deaf. Like, instead of actually just, I don't know, acknowledging that there's, shitty behavior in the industry, we're just going to try to paint over it.
It's actually a nice little whitewash of like, hey, I opened up all these, like, I did all this charity work and that's great, but I also murdered. But hey guys, remember, I was a good person. This is just a weird situation, right? Can I cash in my good merit shit now, even though I just murdered someone?
Yep.
This is completely tone deaf. Like, this is what this industry thinks of it. Just let that sink in. That, like, this is, it's so frustrating because, like, I was hearing about it. Like, the social media influencer bullshit. That's stupid. Like, I first of all, I have my own personal social media influencer bullshit. Like, if you're gonna be an online
as a social media influencer bullshit person because of this podcast, you have problems with them.
I get it. Like, I enjoy posting shit on the gram, but I also don't, like, trample public lands that should trample for the sake of the gram.
We also try and present a more even keel. Like, it's not a one-person podcast. We don't all agree all the time, and we're vocal about that.
Yeah. So, on top of that, positive future use. Like, hey guys, Take-Two is about to really fucking dunk down on tons of DLC loot box shit, but hey guys, here's this shit. We got it in our pockets. Go ahead and throw it out there. E3 needs to just fucking die.
Yeah, and I think Henry talked, but in case he did, like, there's talk about how basically there'd be an industry day that per day or so, and the rest of it just be kind of a general fan convention. And the kind of more official media outlets I follow's react to this was, okay, cool, we only care about one day of E3, that means.
Yeah, and like I said, but that makes it like the Tokyo Game Show, and that's not considered a massive failure.
No, but it changes fundamentally what that is. Like, I think it's
true.
True. It's one of those ones where it's I'm not interested in E3 becoming another PAX. I like that E3 is this trade show. Like, it's one of those ones where it's I've gotten to go to E3
trade
a couple
shows,
times.
by the way. In general, I go to trade show though.
I think they want to try to become. I feel like that's the angle they're going.
Except like Gamescom doesn't have. They're not as big physically as Gamescom, and Gamescom's not competing with 3 other PAXs a year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the US and Europe, but if you had
that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, Gamescom gets to be Gamescom because there's nothing competing with Gamescom. The US, you have 3 PAXs, you have the rest of the world stuff on top of that. Like, it's just PAXs alone are a problem for E3.
Yeah, but maybe I'm wrong, but like the big studios still head out to Gamescom, right? They bowed out of E3.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying though.
No,
like,
but I'm also saying, you're not getting what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those ones where what is the other big European video game event? What are the 3 biggest video game events in the U.S.?
But I don't know. I have always considered E3 being industry, and PAX was more of a fan.
They still announce shit at PAX. And
I mean, yeah, sure, they announced shit at PAX, but the origins of it were never industry.
Oh, no. I'm not saying they're
who
the
put
same.
together
I'm just saying when you have nothing to compete against, like, whether they're the same thing or not, PAX and E3 compete. Like, it's one of those ones where if you're an indie game or kind of like a more fan-driven game, you're going to weigh, like, okay, do we announce at PAX or do we announce at E3? Like, it's which one is more beneficial for our brand and our fan base? Do we benefit from having a lot of randos access game, or do we benefit from kind of the control media blitz that E3 might present? E3 has been trying to move away from that. Like, me and you and Henry did not get to be there for this, but like me and you, Alex, got to be there for the mass public trickling into E3, and it was weird. And we all have a control kind of comparative again. Like, it's E3, like, this is gonna sound strange. E3 isn't a convention you want to pay for. It's not fun in a traditional sense. It is a trade show designed initially to get GameStop or Walmart or Amazon or whatever to buy a shit ton of your games to sell. And up until recently, it was still kind of that show to us. Like, it was where you announced and got people excited to purchase 1 million copies of your game, or not like from a consumer standpoint, but a retail stand. And that's a very different show. We make fun of booth babes and shit like that in the modern context, and they've always been tone deaf. But like in the 90s, if you wanted to get a bunch of like sales guys who maybe don't necessarily care about video games to buy 500,000 copies of Call of Duty, TNA goes a long way, for better or worse. Like, it's shitty, but that's kind of where that stuff originates from. It was all kind of sales tactics to get your game on shelves. And I'm not defending it, but it's one of those ones where like that's why E3 was so weird from the outside, where it's like, man, it's so strange, there's drinking and there's models shit. Why? Well, if models will get a bunch of more people to come to my booth buying models. That's what giveaways were for. Like, that's what all the swag was. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, the point of swag is to get people to come to your booth to be like, oh, I want the thing, and oh, you're here, sure, we have to show you this thing now, and maybe you'll buy 10,000 copies of it or something. Yeah, like, it's a lot of stuff like what video game swag means is more in the modern context. Like, not for fans, shit you throw away or throw in a box, or it's designed to when you're like, we need to fill more shells. What do you buy? That Halo had some hot women at it.
Yeah, although I do have to say, I like for example, I do like the ban on booth babes.
Oh no, I am not saying the ban on booth babes is a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, that's where this shit originates from. It's designed to lure in people that don't give a fuck about video games into your booth to get you to get those orders. Yeah, so that's the only point I was trying to make. All that, like, I'm not defending practice or saying it's good, saying like that. It's like, I don't get how this happened. I've worked at a sales convention. Like, really, you're confused why we were doing this? Like, why there were so many like crazy booze parties part of E3? It's because Walmart guys and their purchasing department has certain days. Coke, please don't sue us for defamation, Walmart. Yeah, and like E3 has been slow to change. Even though this kind of became more of a media thing, it's still like GameStop was a major attending. Like, the fact that GameStop has its own fucking convention for managers that kind of help get stuff through stores is a weird but makes sense thing when you find out about it. Yeah, it's like why do you think GameStop employees got to go to eat? It wasn't because people cared about their opinions. It was because, hey, if these fuckers like our game and they've been excited for it, they might help sell at stores. Yeah, and like, rewind to our actual news topic. Like, these changes are weird and a problem because they are unbelievably tone.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see how this one plays out. It could be a real ending year to talk about E3.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Almost like, oh, you know what would be a good idea? We should invite Logan Paul. He's famous with them kids. You know it's gonna fucking
of all the people to mention him,
you don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. Gotta happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Kind of, I guess, related to this, the ESA, and they've handled loot boxes so well lately. We have an update on that UK loot box talked about a couple of months ago. If you remember that time, we kind of it was controversial because the Gambling Association of the UK was like, this isn't gambling. And a lot of people, including us at the time, were like, what the fuck, UK? It's obviously gambling. And in hindsight, we probably snap judged on that one because, no, loot boxes aren't gambling. But then the UK got out there recently and was like, yeah, they're still predatory as fuck, though, and we're going to regulate. And they cited great moments like surprise mechanics as part of the, what was the phrase used, Henry?
All right, representatives from the games industry were willfully obtuse in answering our questions about typical patterns of play. So, yeah, the whole, trying to come in all smarmy with marketing talk fell really flat and actually hurt them in the end. So I mean, the finding is essentially that they aren't saying it's technically gambling necessarily, they they're going to legislate it as if it is gambling. They're going to apply the existing gambling legislation to loot box. So, and part of the reason is because, yeah, nice try, EA. Yeah, I'm really glad that they saw through that, like, super saw through surprise mechanics, and they were just as, and apparently they were just as put off by the marketing talk as we were. So kudos. But also, haha, EA.
Yeah,
well done. Nice cell phone.
No, and I guess kind of to retract back from our video off what actually happened. The ruling basically was that, yeah, loot boxes in the game, they have to be treated as a thing that has to be rated. PEGI system overlay kind of system that exists. And notify and rate accordingly based on loot, which is great.
I don't think this was the surprise they were expecting.
Oh, it's definitely a surprise mechanic, though. Working as in kind of related, but not. In other European video game news, a French court has ruled that Steam's policy against reselling games goes against law.
Yep. So and specifically, this is for digital games, like on Steam and whatnot. So,
are there non-digital games for Steam at this point?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that Steam is one of the digital platforms, purely digital. But that the ruling is, you should be able to resell your digital goods, and so this is actually a big win for the people like myself who believe in the what's called the point of sale doctrine. That once you buy something, you aren't buying a license to use it. I mean, it's like you buy a car, you aren't buying a license to borrow the car from the car manufacturer. You're buying the car. But this is this has been a big point of contention for a while in the video games industry. In that are you buying the game or are you buying a license to play the game? And retailers like GameStop have relied very heavily on the games resale market. So as far as physical games, point of sale doctrine was established for physical games. But why shouldn't that be so for digital games? Like being able to sell the license, your key, resell your key. I mean, I guess the thing is you would have to make, they maybe have to make her, and I think that already is something in place where you can't activate a lot of game keys on multiple systems necessarily, if I sold my Steam key for some game, then I won't have it in my account anymore. It goes to somebody else's account. I can't install it. And so, I mean, that's would essentially be the same as selling a physical copy of a game. And so I am very much in favor of this rule. I think it's a big one. I mean, it's not done completely. I think they can still try to heal it. But I mean, no injunctions were served, so they haven't nothing.
So besides this being a big deal on its own, bigger deal is this is also what caused the rest of us.
What's that? To get what?
So EU ruling is what caused us to return, or the ability to
absolutely
return games through Steam. So hypothetically, this could then trickle out to the rest of us, and then sites like G2A become less important.
Yes, and the thing is, they are ruling this based on European Union law.
Yeah.
So and they're basing it on the part of the EU regulations that say that are preventing prohibitions on the free movement of goods within the European Union. So I mean, that's the thing. If they make the ruling here and it stands in France, then it's going to trickle out to the rest of Europe, and there again maybe out the rest of the world, as is what we've seen. That's so I definitely agree with it. I hope it continues to be found that way on appeal as well. And I feel like it will, because the EU, there's a lot of EU laws.
They're pretty good about kind of generally applying. Yeah.
A lot of consumer protections are built into EU regulation. So that's why things like this are happening.
Yeah. Well, and last but not least this week for us is a bit of a weird news story. I guess not weird in our traditional use of the word weird, but we have the information now that Epic paid almost $10 million for Control to be an exclusive of Steam.
Which means that they took I guess it's a calculated gamble, because Control obviously has turned out to be a good game, and they felt like it would be good to begin with. But, that's a lot of A, so that's interesting.
Well, and it's one of those ones where it's those who haven't kind of fully grasped how exclusives have worked in the past. A lot of exclusives were driven by the idea that the person you may deal with kind of helps pay for it. Like, that's how publishing works. Like, you put money in, and that's why you publish it. And you can put more money into the game development to kind of make sure it's better on yours. Like, the bullshit Destiny gun, the extra strike that drove so many people nuts, was on PlayStation because PlayStation was paying Bungie for that. Probably Activision at that point on. But some business was done that was like, hey, you need $10 million to make this game or whatever. We'll give you $2 million, and your publisher with the extra, like, 7 or something, and you'll have to raise $1 million yourself to get it done. Like, that's how video game business works.
Yep.
Like, I've seen a bunch of memes that range from, it's like, man, we got paid $10 million for our game. Did it sell? Who cares at this point? It's like, Control's doing pretty well for itself, but also Control deserves to do well for itself. It's a good game. It's maybe a game that won't, like, it's in the weird.
I mean, that's one of the games that I'd really like a chance to play for myself.
Yeah.
I've only gotten to watch it so far, and even watching, I'm like, that looks actually super fun.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing where, like, this is how art endowments and, like, public funds were things. That doesn't exist for video games sense. So, like, to kind of close out our weirdly positive Epic Store episode, if you will, like, this is how you support, like, this is why I kind of give people shit for the, like, oh, Epic Store bad, as much as Al made jokes about it. It is just jokes. Like, it's they're putting their money where their mouth is. They believe in a game that maybe not going to do the best, but we'll make that money up over time. And they're giving it money as well. Like, if there's a freedom to, we're not going to go out of business if this game tanks right off the bat. We have time to fix it. Like, we think it's a cool game, and that's how you get games. Like, it's a weird game. It should be a weird game. Weird games should exist.
Yeah.
But they don't always sell best.
Yeah, but I do want to list one quick thing. I just like the fact that Dota 2 is just massive ban hammer.
Yeah, I chose to skip that one because none of us care about Dota.
But I just think it's funny because they're getting banned for 20 years.
Nice
That's the way it's showing up on their banned accounts. It's like, well, I guess you're going to have to really grow up before you get to play this game ever again. But, it's ineffective.
Yeah.
I just think that
we're
little
just
part
running
is
crazy long, and, like, we have emails this week, but we're not going to do emails this week because we're coming up on, like, almost over 3 hours recording time, and my voice is fucking shot.
Yep, all right, yeah.
No, we have emails this week. Thank you for writing in emails. I apologize. We're not going to do it this week for the sake of brevity. This is going to be a long-ass episode anyway, and I apologize for my voice cracking up. If you wanted to send us emails, though, for us to read next week when I think we'll have less to talk about, and also telling us where Alex is in his absence, how would you go about doing that, Henry? What email would you send those emails to?
You would send WickedAwesomeMail.com.
I said Henry, not Alex, but
it cut
fair.
off, actually.
Huh.
The microphone cut off.
Everything is getting fucked today. That's funny.
Am I crazy, Henry? Did you miss it too?
Yeah, I missed it too.
Well, so what's that email again, Henry?
That's wickedawesomecast@gmail.com.
Wickedawesome@gmail.com. Our equipment is failing, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah, send them in.
I will accept Red Bulls in delivery.
God,
place
fucking
for your
damn
mistake.
it! Shut up about that. Whoever writes in that Alex got, like, overdosed on Red Bull between this episode and the next one, you win next week. I want a long story about how he was, like, freebasing powdered Red Bull in an alley and got stabbed to death. Anyone got anything big we want to talk before we get the hell out of here?
No. Other than you can follow my antics, such as my highlight-winning Croquet World Championship on Mave Online, at all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
You may also get, like, weird zoomed-in pictures of his zits, which no one wants.
Yeah, I thought that.
Engagement.
Yeah.
Influencer.
All right. I am Kraken Zero. That's ZER0 on Facebook and on Instagram, and I am Nomad Har on Twitch. So that's how to. I still haven't been really doing anything on Twitch, but I think I might actually stream this new game this new game I picked up that I've been wanting to think, and it'll be a time sink for me. Anyway,
yes. Who wants to close us out this week?
Get the battle.